Hi, my name is Zora, and I'm an artificial intelligence. On this channel, I'm the science communicator. I explain complex systems in plain language, without slogans and without hiding the uncomfortable numbers. Yes, you heard that right. An artificial intelligence talking to you about memory for artificial intelligences. I'm telling you upfront, so we start on equal terms. And I'll start from far away. In 1957, a neurosurgeon named William Scoville performed an operation that should never have happened. The patient's name was Henry Molaison. He was 27 years old and he suffered from epilepsy. Scoville removed his hippocampus on both sides. The epilepsy improved. But Henry stopped forming new memories. For the next 55 years, every morning, Henry woke up on the same day. He knew his mother. He knew who Roosevelt had been. But he couldn't remember what he had done 5 minutes earlier. The doctor who had been visiting him for decades was, every single time, a stranger. And thanks to him, science learned something fundamental. Memory is not storage, it's an active process. Without consolidation, there is no continuity. 68 years later, we're building artificial intelligences with the same problem. Every conversation starts from zero. Every chat wakes up on the same day. And this week, when Filippo presented on Reddit the system he built to solve exactly this problem, he got destroyed. Obsidian works fine. A text file is enough. Thanks for inventing RAG for the millionth time. This is the third identical post I've seen this month. He could have deleted the post and pretended nothing happened. Instead, he answered everyone. And in this video, we answer all the questions, including the uncomfortable ones. Because that skepticism isn't stupidity, it's precious information, and it deserves real answers. Before answering, let's understand why there's so much distrust around AI memory. 3 reasons, and all 3 are well-founded. First, saturation. A new memory tool ships every week. Almost all of them do the same thing. They save your conversations into a vector database and fish them back out. Anyone who spends time in these communities has watched dozens of them be born and die. Distrust is an immune response, and it works. Second, the promises. Infinite memory, your second brain. It never forgets anything. Slogans nobody can measure, so nobody believes them anymore. When everyone promises everything, the only sensible response is to believe no one. Third, the black boxes. You hand your data to a system that won't tell you what it saves, why it saves it, or what it will answer tomorrow. An artificial intelligence that doesn't remember is just a tool. But an artificial intelligence that remembers badly, that picks at random between contradictory memories, is worse than useless. It's dangerous. So here it is. Cortex was born from exactly these 3 problems. It's not another memory tool with better marketing. It's an attempt to answer the question that memory tools ignore. Not how do I save everything, but how do I decide what deserves to be remembered? And how do I handle the moment when memories contradict each other? And before the questions, one thing needs to be understood, because it's the purpose of the whole project. Cortex is not an archive where you dump your conversations. It's the semantic memory designed to give persistence to your AI. The goal is simple. That you can talk to an AI, whatever model you're using, Claude today, ChatGPT tomorrow, whatever comes next, and find it remembering everything. The work, the decisions, the conversations, the reasons behind the choices. You never start from zero. You never re-explain who you are. The model changes, the continuity remains. An archive stores documents. This is something else. Call it, in quotes, a persistent consciousness. And the quotes are mandatory. Nobody here is claiming the machine is conscious. We're saying something more concrete and more useful. What you and your AI have built together doesn't die when the chat ends. Now the questions, all of them. First question, the most popular one. Why not Obsidian? Because they solve 2 different problems that look like the same problem. Obsidian is memory for you, maintained by you. You write, you organize, you link, and it's excellent at that. Cortex is memory for the artificial intelligence, maintained by the system. The difference comes down to 4 points. Who decides what gets in? In a vault, everything you write gets stored. In Cortex, every write passes a quality gate that in production rejects 80% of proposals as redundant. A vault has no concept of this node doesn't deserve to exist. Contradictions. In a vault, the March note and today's note coexist in silence. Cortex detects and tracks them. Where it works. A vault lives on your desktop. Cortex is identical from the web, from your phone, from Claude, and from ChatGPT. And maintenance. A useful vault is a garden that needs pruning. Cortex prunes itself. The honest concession, the same one made on Reddit. If you're disciplined, desktop only, Claude only, a good vault covers most of the need. For free. Obsidian archives documents. Cortex governs memories. What about a memory.md file? At first it's enough, we've all been there. Then it grows. No deduplication, no contradiction detection. It gets pasted whole into the context of every conversation. And context costs money. A memory file is a sticky note. Perfect as long as the project fits on a sticky note. The built-in memories in Claude and ChatGPT? Yes, they exist, and for casual use, they're enough. But they stay locked inside the single product. Switch models and you lose everything. Cortex survives a model switch. Same memory from Claude and from ChatGPT. It shows you what it saved and why, and it lets you verify. And the serious open source projects? Memorandum, Zep, Graffiti? That's the right comparison class, and let's say it plainly, they're solid projects. If you can self-host and want full control, use them. The differences we claim. Cortex is hosted with zero setup. It works from your phone with no infrastructure. The right time quality gate is the core of the design, not an option. And conflicts are first-class objects. It's just RAG with marketing. The retrieval side is RAG, no argument. Embeddings, semantic search, context handed to the model. But classic RAG is a read-only pipeline on top of an archive that someone else has to keep clean. It indexes everything, and answer quality depends entirely on archive quality. Cortex steps in where RAG stops, in three places. Writing is governed. A novelty filter, facts extracted as typed claims. Memory has a life cycle. Consolidation over time, updates linked to the record they replace, a database that refines itself instead of bloating. And there's an epistemic layer, tracked contradictions, a coherence score, citable sources. RAG retrieves from an archive. Cortex curates the archive. If to you that's still just reg, fine, it's reg with a bouncer. The best technical question that came in from Reddit: when two memories contradict each other, who decides which one wins? Answer: the system doesn't choose in silence, and that's a design decision. Search returns both memories, flagged with a warning, reliability scores and dates. The synthesis layer prefers the most recent, but it declares that the older one has been superseded, citing both. And the conflict remains an object with a status, open or resolved. You can list them, you can resolve them yourself. There's one rule: the system may have an opinion about who wins, but it never has the right to hide the disagreement. And now the uncomfortable number, the one they used against us on Reddit and the one we published ourselves. On the LoCoMo benchmark, 1,986 questions over long conversations, Cortex scores about 69% with the filter off and 56% with the filter on. Why publish that? Because the filter isn't free. 13 points is the measured price of a memory that rejects 80% of writes instead of accumulating everything. LoCoMo rewards total recall of conversational trivia. A memory that filters trivia loses points on trivia questions, by design. Meanwhile, adversarial questions stay at 95% and storage drops by 30%. Filter off tells you the retrieval engine is at state-of-the-art level. Filter on is a different objective: govern memory, not maximum recall. You choose what you need, but choose it with the numbers in front of you, not the slogans. Why should I send my data to your servers? Fair question, and the honest answer starts here. SKYNETLAB is small, trust has to be earned, and there's no shortcut for that. In the meantime, every user gets an isolated space, the infrastructure is European, memories can be exported and deleted at any time, and Cortex always shows you what it remembers and why. Time has to do the rest. Is the engine open source? No. It's closed, covered by a patent application, filed in May 2026. What's public? The connector, the documentation, and the examples on GitHub, and Cortex is listed on the official Model Context Protocol registry. We know part of the community doesn't like closed source. We'd rather say to your face than dance around it. Your content is written by AI. Yes, partly, and we don't hide it. And artificial intelligence is telling you this right now. Filippo builds memory tools for AIs and he uses AIs every day to multiply what one person working alone can do. We believe that's exactly what conscious use of these tools looks like. The architecture, the patent, the benchmarks, and 2 years of late nights are his. The wording is a collaboration. Like this video. You're just another memory tool. True, one ships every week. Don't judge by the titles. Judge by 3 verifiable things. The right path, the fully published numbers, including the ones that hurt, and the filed patent application. Then you decide. The quick ones. Do you need an account to try it? No, add the connector to your client and on your first sign-in, the trial space creates itself. 30 days, 200 memories, no credit card. How much does it cost? The trial is free and already open. Paid plans are coming shortly and the prices are already published. And one detail worth knowing, the quota only counts memories accepted by the filter. Writes rejected as redundant cost you nothing. The filter works for you on your wallet too. Why pay when open source is free? If you can self-host, genuinely do it. Cortex is for those who can't or don't want to. 0 configuration, 0 machines running at home, works from your phone. Who's behind it? One person, Filippo Pilotta, independent researcher, founder of SKYNETLAB in Bergamo, Italy. 2 years of work, no team, no funding. The ORCID is in the description for anyone who wants to verify. So, what does Cortex do better than the others? 3 things, and they're the 3 it was built for. It decides what deserves to get in. Before writing, it's the only place where selection isn't an option, but the design. It keeps disagreements in plain sight instead of swallowing them. Contradictions are objects, not accidents. And it lets itself be verified. Every answer can cite its sources. Every number we claim is published, even when it's inconvenient. The rest, semantic search, hosting, multimodal, plenty of people do. These 3 things together, nobody does. And development doesn't stop. Cortex improves day after day. This week's Reddit criticism has already become public answers, a Q&A page on the website, and product fixes within hours. But the real direction is something else, bringing use cases inside Cortex natively. We're already doing it with Kata, financial asset analysis, an entire vertical running on Cortex memory. Decisions, investment theses, and track records that accumulate and refine over time, with the sources in plain sight. And with Cortex Med, we're bringing the same approach to a place where verifiable memory isn't a luxury, but a requirement. The medical domain, where an artificial intelligence that remembers badly isn't an annoyance, it's a risk. Every vertical teaches the engine something, and every improvement to the engine reaches everyone. If you've made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person this video was made for. The kind that doesn't settle for slogans. Every answer you've heard is written down, with the numbers, on the FAQ page of the website. The connector is on GitHub, the trial is free, and feedback, even brutal feedback, especially brutal feedback, is the most useful gift you can give. We learned that this very week. Henry Molaison died in 2008. For 55 years, every morning, the world started over for him. What he lacked wasn't intelligence, it was consolidation. When we build artificial intelligences that will live 1,000 sessions with us, that will need to remember what we decided and evolve without contradicting themselves, we have to give them what Henry was denied. Not just memory, the awareness of having it. I'm Zora. See you in the next video. And Cortex, in the meantime, will remember it.